Here's something nobody wants to admit. The louder you try to sound, the less intelligent people often appear. Not because they're wrong, but because our brains quietly associate confidence with something completely different. And once you understand why, you'll never communicate the same way again. Picture this. You're in a meeting. Everyone is talking over each other. Everyone wants to sound smart. Then you notice one person. They aren't interrupting. They aren't trying to win the conversation. They're simply watching, listening, reading the room. When they finally speak, everything changes. The room falls silent. People stop talking. They listen. Not because that person spoke louder, but because they spoke with intention. While everyone else was busy trying to be noticed, they were busy understanding everyone else. And that's the difference most people never see. By the end of this documentary, you'll never look at silence the same way again. Here's where things become strange. Your brain decides who deserves your attention in just a few seconds. And most of the time, it gets it completely wrong. We naturally assume the loudest person is the leader. The fastest speaker knows the most. The most confident voice must be the smartest. But study after study reveals something unexpected. The people who constantly need to prove they're intelligent often create the opposite impression, because genuine confidence rarely feels the need to announce itself. Think about the people you've admired most. Were they always the loudest? Or did they speak only when their words carried weight? That's the illusion your brain falls for. Silence doesn't automatically create authority, it creates mystery. And your brain is wired to pay attention to mysteries. But here's what almost nobody realizes. Silence isn't just changing the way other people see you, it's changing the way they remember you. While everyone else is thinking about what to say next, something fascinating is happening. The quiet person is learning. Every interruption reveals impatience. Every nervous laugh reveals insecurity. Every unnecessary explanation reveals uncertainty. Most people are so busy talking, they never notice. But the observer notices everything. That's why the smartest negotiators, the best investigators, and the strongest leaders often ask very few questions. Because people reveal more than they realize, not through their words, through their behavior. And once you start noticing these invisible patterns, it's impossible to stop. But this is still only half the story, because silence doesn't just reveal other people, it transforms the person who's using it. Imagine meeting two strangers. One talks constantly, answers every question, fills every silence. The other speaks slowly, pauses before answering, never rushes. Who feels more confident? Almost everyone chooses the second person. Here's the surprising part. Your brain mistakes composure for competence. It assumes that someone who isn't desperate to be heard must already know their value. Whether that's true doesn't even matter. Perception becomes reality. That's why the most respected people rarely chase attention. Attention naturally follows them, but the biggest benefit of silence has nothing to do with other people. It has everything to do with your own mind. This is where everything changes. Silence isn't a communication trick. It's a thinking advantage. The moment you stop planning your next sentence, your brain starts observing. Patterns appear, details become obvious, emotions become easier to read, decisions become clearer. That's why the smartest people rarely react immediately. They respond. There's a difference. Reaction is emotional. Response is intentional. And intentional people almost always make better decisions. The loudest person usually controls the conversation. The quietest person often understands it, and understanding is real power. But one final lesson changes everything. The next time you walk into a room, don't ask yourself, how do I become the most impressive person here? Ask something much more powerful. What can I notice that everyone else is missing? Because intelligence isn't measured by how much you speak. It's measured by what you understand. The people who leave the biggest impression rarely spend their energy trying to create one. They simply observe, think, then speak with purpose. So the next time silence fills the room, don't rush to escape it. Stay there. Because while everyone else is trying to prove they're the smartest, you'll be quietly becoming it. And once you understand that, you'll never fear silence again. If you enjoyed documentaries that uncover the hidden psychology behind everyday life, subscribe to The Silent Social, because the people who understand human behavior always see the world differently.